Family, Mabuyane, ANC, family. ANC, family, Eastern Cape, family. Thank you very much, Program Director. Duly elected the chair. Greetings to the leadership, the ANC members present here, now led by Comrade Ramaphosa, who is part of our ANC employees, but also led by our president, who just joined us. The leadership in our midst from the ANC people, Sanko, our leads, the leadership from the mass democratic movement, including our traditional leaders and religious leadership, the delegates to our 9th provincial conference, all our invited guests and the media, Mabuyane Nonge. Mabuyane izolo ibingumhla wesibhozo ngawo lo mhla kunyaka ka-1985 urhulumente wabamhlophe wabulala amaqhawe amathathu alapha kwephondo lethu, uComrade uSiphiwe Washe, uComrade Champion Galela, uComrade Kakao Kodorosi. Nokubula amaqhawe aziwa njenge-Pepo 3. Into yokubulawa kwala maqabane yaba nefuthe ekukhuthazeni abantu abatsha ukuba balwele inkululeko. Sifuna ke ukuthi asivala le nkomfa ngesixhoba apha e-Eastern Cape, igalelo lakho soze sililibala. Long live the spirit of Pepo 3, long live. Abaningi nezinto nje ezimbalwa endifuna ukuzithetha phambi kokuba ndinike umongameli wethu uComrade Ramaphosa okokuba aqukumbele le nkomfa. Siyabamkela President ANC. The home of nations. Izomqala ndibhekise kumaqabane angaphumelelanga olonyulo lwesikulo apha kwenkomfa. uComrade Mabaro mandikizela, uComrade Charles Kutu, uComrade Olile Ngombela, uComrade Andile Lungisa, uComrade Umawes Ikana Ochiwe. Ufuna ukuthi kuni maqabane nizinkokeli ze-African National Congress. Akho embi eliyenzileyo ngokuvuma xa amasebe esithi thathani inxaxheba kunyulo lokonyulwa kwenkokeli kule nkomfa. In fact, comrades, you were exercising your rights as ANC members in good standing for participating in this leadership contest. asifuni ke makabani ijongise intloko zenu ezantsi umbutho wethu usanidinga ukuze siphucule ubomi babantu bakuthi kweli phondo. Ubunkokheli makabani be-ANC abuqali buphele ngokonyulwa kwesikhundla. We love you, we respect you, you are our comrades. Comrades, at the beginning of the conference, I urged all of us to conduct ourselves in a manner that upholds the stature of the African National Congress. I asked all of us to be inspired at this conference by the words of President A.P. Puma when he said, and I quote, "To Congress, we must be loyal and true. For Congress, we must forget any personal or sectional interest or gain. We must put the cause and the interest of the people before any expedience." Close quote. Funa ukubulela bonke abathunywa bamasebe kule nkomfa ngomonde enusingathe ngayo le nkomfa. This was a conference of branches. Present, about 92% of delegates in this conference are from branches of the ANC. More than 600 branches of our province are represented here. That simply means almost everyone is almost represented in our province. We're supposed to be here Congress for 3 days, but due to delays we had to extend to today. As branch delegates, you have displayed discipline and comradely spirit that we expect to see in all ANC meetings. Sichiro comrade kuba abantu abaqalayo izikonveno abasha abaze kwabezofunda be-ANC. Meetings of this magnitude are political schools. Not every meeting, even the president, with such a number of NEC employees at the same time. So we miss this opportunity, you are on your own. I must indicate, comrades, yes, there was a tension, and it is normal when it is going to the leadership context. But the mood was festive throughout the conference. Comrades sang revolutionary songs in unison, and comrades also sang songs to support a particular leadership preference. Now that comrades, the branches have spoken, we have one leadership collective that will lead and serve all ANC members in our province for the next 4 years. for this conference. I'm trying to also brief the President of what was happening here. Now that the conference is concluded, their lifespan is over. Siyacela ke kanjalo kumakhulu sibuyele kwingoma zomzabalazo. Ziphele ingoma ezijoliswe abaphumeleleyo nabo bangaphumelelanga kulo ngulo. I also want to appeal today is that what happens at an ANC conference ends at an ANC conference. You can't go back to your branch to define the membership of our songs. As the Funke Makabale upon any contest, Thomas Pan, Nabewa, Lempo, Obalondo, these are the masters of Mumbo. In the masters of what is of Wembozo, in Louis. From not to know when I contestation Congress is a healthy democratic process in the ANC. Those elected Congress must lead all members of the ANC and the society that expects ANC to lead. Those Congress who did not prevail must not feel wounded. This is your organization. As New Leadership Collective Congress, we commit to build on the work of the 8th EC to ensure that we build a renewed, united, stronger and coherent ANC in our province. To achieve this objective, Congress, we are going to need all regional leaders, branch leaders, and ordinary members of our movement to work with us and support us to discharge our leadership duties and the mandate of the 9th Provincial Conference. Comrades, I'm certain all of us will agree that the renewal of systems in our organization must be done with speed. Our organization is 110 years old, therefore we should not be having challenges of holding conferences within the specified time. Abandon the way forward. We must always modernize our systems of capturing membership data and perfect our logistical management for conferences to avoid the delays that we have experienced, which are not unique to our province. We have lost money, Mr. President, by postponing this conference from a date that it was supposed to sit, due to our internal organization process. It pains us because we don't have money as the ANC. The legal we have, it cannot just go like that. It is important for the ANC, for the NEC to learn lessons from these challenges so that when we go to the national conference, we run a smooth conference. That will give us enough time to deal concretely with policy discussion in our conferences. African National Congress. We've made tremendous strides in addressing socio-economic challenges of our communities, but many masses of our people still yearn for jobs. They want us to lift them out of poverty. They want better services and development of their communities. We have a plethora of opportunities to make meaningful change in our province as investors are positively looking towards our province. The ANC must ensure that its employees in government do not mess things up where they lead. We must remember, Congress, that we are in the 28th year of our democracy, but many of our communities have not tasted the fruits of freedom. That means, Congress, we must be agile going forward in using state power to transform the lives of our people. The role of the incoming PC collective will be to ensure that the ANC employees in government, whether in provincial departments or municipalities, account quarterly to the ANC provincial headquarters. The PC Collective will strengthen its hold as the political center in the province and ensure all those who are in this strategic deployment do their work without fail. We have a mandate and a commitment we have made to our people in this sixth term of our administration. Comrades, it is going to be imperative for the ANC structures to interpret the state of the province, address, budget speech, policy statement by MSCs, and state of the municipality addresses to take our communities into confidence about what the three spheres of government are doing in their communities. Kufuneka sikhuphisele comrades nezifo ezifana nokuba abantu babe neempompo zamanzi kodwa amanzi akaphumi. Izinto zokuba abantwana baqale unyaka incwadi zingekho esikolweni nezinto zokujika kwemali ezabelwe uphuhliso lwabantu bempompo. Kuzobaqaba ke amaqabane xa abantu abathunywe kurhulumenteni bengawenzi umsebenzi wabo ngexesha elifanelekileyo. Qabane siliphondo elinabantu abaninzi abahlala ezilalini. The vast majority of our electoral base is from rural communities. Akufuneki sibe nentloni ngokusa izabelo zemali ezifanelekileyo kubantu abanjalo nakwiilokishi zethu. Having said that, comrades, the ANC must support its employees in urban municipalities to deliver better services to communities so that we regain lost trust and confidence. We must only strengthen our hold in the two metros because they are our economic hubs, while we work to ensure that Mtata becomes a third economic hub across the country. In the 4-year mandate we have been given here, we can make wonders to change socio-economic fortunes of our rural districts. Alfred Zokobes is the #1 district in the entire country. The Ntswelo, the Tupelo, Bedlam, the landing by our town, almost more than 50% of our population reside in those districts that include Jogabi and Christian. We ensure that the district development model is perfectly implemented by all our municipalities to ensure that all spheres of government work in a very integrated way. As newly elected collective, we advance the gains we have made in affirming youth, women, people with disabilities, and our struggling veterans. In this regard, we must see more practical programs to upskill and empower young people of our province. We must also see heightened activism to curb the scourge of violence against women and children. We must elevate the social-economic empowerment of women in our province. As a leader of society, the ANC in the province must also take it upon itself to work with traditional leaders to find a lasting solution to the tragedy of young boys who die in initiation school. The number of stories are losing about 40 cases. Young people who are not sick, who are just healthy, because they decided to go through this passage, they actually lose their lives. There's something fundamentally wrong with this. It is just another pandemic that Congress must be confronted by all of us. As we go back to our benches, let's begin campaigns around this. The next season Congress is starting very soon. We don't want to lose our children, Congress, simply because they have gone through this before. Now, Congress, they have said that we have lost young people, President. More than 1,000 young people have died simply because they have gone through this circumcision. It's a responsibility of all of us, no longer traditional leaders alone. It's a responsibility of families. Families must definitely take serious responsibility around this. Congress, we are going to have a provincial general council to affirm our policy positions and also shape the mandate of this conference. We spent a lot of time unnecessarily here, unfortunately, and we lost our time. We did a lot of work to prepare for this by holding these pre-conference commissions to look at the political content of this conference. That presentation is ready, it has been detailed. we instructed regions to hold RGCs to prepare structures and delegates coming to this conference, so that sizokwazi ukufocusa umsebenzi olindelwe ngabantu bakuthi. Sizawusebenza nama-comrade nazo zonke izi-structures ezisebenza nazo, our alliance partners, traditional leaders, faith-based organizations that are always with us to succeed in our work during this term. Mandisho President, Public ABC's Managing City, Buffalo City is the only metro that we feel proud about. Without this civil organization, this faith-based organization, our befundisi sihloko sihamba nama-volunteer ANC, I don't think we would have actually achieved what we have achieved in Buffalo City. Worse, when the ANC Buffalo City leadership was so divided. People on their own stood up, took over ANC, campaigned for the ANC. Today we've got a metro that is under the leadership of the ANC. We continue Congress to have an open door policy to listen to all stakeholders of progressive organizations that want to work with us. Our main priority is serving the people of the Eastern Cape and to give them a better life. Let me conclude, Comrade Chair, by once again thanking all delegates for ensuring that we have a very successful 9th provincial conference. With the guidance of the leadership from the ANC working with us, President, supposed to adopt credentials in this conference by consensus. We didn't vote for credentials. That was a milestone. One Congress to apologize to all of you for any inconvenience caused to various stakeholders who were here, including the media, guests, and various companies that made this conference a success. May you all be safe on the road back home to your families. We extend our sincere word of gratitude to ANC employees who were tasked to ensure the success of this conference. Nenze umsebenzi esiwulindeleyo kwinkokeli ze-ANC. The guidance and leadership was on point throughout. We really appreciate your hard work and dedication over the duration of this conference. Cold storage, where there was a registration running overnight. People sacrificing. Thank you very much, Congress, for that. Congress, let us make 2022 indeed the year of unity and renewal to defend and advance South Africa's democratic gains. President, I can assure you, even if you can bring 2024 closer, we will be ready to defend Cape. President, even if you can bring December, the national conference, closer, President, we don't want, as the ANC cannot afford this turnover of leadership. Every time we go to a conference, we are on each other's neck. We change even to suggest that even the president can be easily changed. That is not right. It's not right for South Africa. It's not right for people who are really yearning for something better in order to improve their lives. So, President, we are happy with you We have spoken about this unit, this renewal of the ANC for some time. A number of conferences of the ANC have met around this, have resolved around this. But there hasn't been a leader willing to take a risk. Because equality is always about let's focus it. So you need to go in with power millions. Or I asked here. But President, you said this is the time that ANC must be saved from us for South Africans. And you led us from there. In the executive, we really believe, President, that the 54th National Conference of the ANC was a Damascus moment for the ANC. We're struck by that lightning, we'll never go back. Yes. We want the ANC to have another 100 years going forward for future generations. Therefore, President, the stance we have taken to lead the ANC against all odds is a very, very recommended one, or commendable one, and we support you for that. That's why you come a president. You must avail yourself when you are nominated by branches of the ANC. Another 5 years. Amanda, President, I'm calling you to this podium. President, viva! Viva! Viva COSATU, viva! Viva! Viva SACP, viva! Viva! Long live the spirit of Nelson Mandela, long live! Long live! Long live the spirit of Umama Umini Madikizela Mandela, long live! Long live! Mandla! Malibong! It's very nice to be here. Very nice to be here. Afana Leamini, 2017. Yavuka lapha namhlanje. Usekhaya. Usekhaya apha. There is a warm spirit. There is a wonderfully revolutionary feeling to be here. And Tia, I know what I'll say, you are inconvenient. You are now the chair. I want to extend my greetings to NEC members, the NEC employees who have been deployed by the National Executive Committee to support the leadership of this province in all the work they do, as led by Comrade Aaron Motsoaledi. I extend my greetings to the leadership of our various leagues, the Veterans League, the Women's League, the Youth League, and I also extend my greetings to our alliance partners, the South African Communist Party and COSATU. And I extend my greetings to Abefundisi who are here, Namakosi who are here, if any, and various leaders of other organizations that always walk this road with us. Firstly, comrades, let me extend congratulations kuni nonke as delegates to this conference. I was one of those who was watching on television. Benifuna ukuba lapha ezinkokheli ezizathi nowungezi ngoku. That why ningafuni ukuthi nibe khona, but no, President uzawuzamva. Don't come now. So I was marooned in Johannesburg. Ndinijonge nonke, ndinibonile ku TV, ndinibonile. Ndine record epheleleyo ukuthi lo wayesenza ntoni, lo wayethini, and so on. So I congratulate you, comrades, in the way that you have conducted this conference, the way as delegates you have been so disciplined. It was real revolutionary discipline, and you are to be congratulated. I congratulate you, comrades, because you showed commitment and resoluteness that ensured that this conference took place. Many did not think ukuthi izawuba khona le komfa. Many thought ukuthi it is going to descend into chaos.
And even the front pages of some newspapers were saying, Eastern Cape Conference descends into chaos. I am glad you proved them wrong. Because this is the resolve and determination that we need to carry us forward into renewing and rebuilding our glorious movement. This is the year of conferences and various congresses for our movement broadly, the Congress movement. And this is the year we must use all that we have to demonstrate to all and sundry, to our people in the country, that indeed we are a revolutionary movement, we are disciplined, but more importantly, that we are here to unite and to strengthen our movement as a whole, not only the African National Congress, but the entire Congress movement, because all various components of the Congress movement need to be united, and they also need to be renewed. Now, the intensity of leadership contests at our conferences should not preclude us from moving forward as a united and strong organization. We should always remember that we seek leadership of our movement in order to better fulfill the ANC's mission of building a united, non-racial, non-sexist, democratic and prosperous South Africa. I wish to congratulate the incoming leadership as led by Comrade Oscar Mabuyane as our chair, Comrade Mlungisi Mvoko as our deputy chair, Comrade Lulama Ngugaitobi as our secretary, Comrade Helen Sauls August as our deputy secretary, and Comrade Zolile Williams as our treasurer. I congratulate you, 5 comrades, but I also, comrades, want to thank those comrades who contested them. I thank them in the manner in which they also carried themselves. That they have not succeeded does not mean that they have lost. That they were not finally elected does not mean that they are not leaders of the African National Congress. I want to say to them, Comrade Matigizela, Comrade Kompela, Comrade Ntutu, Comrade Kotiwe, Comrade Tikana Kotiwe, as well as Comrade Andile Lungisa, that you are leaders of the African National Congress. And we will always see you as leaders. Having not succeeded now does not mean that you will not be given leadership position as you move on. And I want to thank you for the spirit that you displayed, which many of us saw on television, that as soon as the votes were declared, you did come forward and congratulated the comrades who have succeeded. Thank you very much for that. In the end, comrades, the branches have spoken. You, as the branches of our movement here in the Eastern Cape, you have spoken. You represented your will and your decisions as the branches of our movement. You came to this conference divided. But now that you have elected your leaders, the decision that you have taken means that you want the leaders and yourselves to be united. You want to renew the African National Congress. I forever remember after I was elected together with the top 6 at the Nazareth conference in 2017, one delegate came forward and said, as we were all singing, and he said to me, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa, we have elected you. Your key task is to unite this movement. Your key task is to renew this movement. And he said, That is exactly what we are going to be watching you for, whether you are going to seek to unite this movement. I took it very seriously. I took it as a clear mandate, which was being communicated by this one delegate, having been decided upon by the delegates as a body. And I want to say to the 5 comrades who have been elected here, your mandate is to unite this organization here in the Eastern Cape, now that the branches have spoken. It is up to you to assume this mantle of leadership, as well as comradeship and cadership, and take forward our program of action as spelled out in our January 8th statement. So now you know what the branches expect of you. None of us need reminding that you are coming into your leadership position at a critical time for the province, for our movement, and for our country as a whole. Our foremost task as the African National Congress is to be the servants of our people. As you are elected now, you are now a real servant of the people, to serve. We are also here so that you, as well as the entire ANC here, should be at the forefront of improving the lives of our people and the recovery of our economy through reducing unemployment, eliminating poverty, hunger, and increasing investment and economic growth here in the Eastern Cape. All our efforts and endeavors, comrades, must be geared towards achieving these objectives of the National Democratic Revolution. This becomes especially important at a time when our country and the world is rebuilding after a most challenging period. As we all know, our country has never faced as challenging a period as it is facing now. One would have said, well, we had a pandemic in 1918, and it killed many more people than COVID-19 has killed. But on top of the COVID-19 pandemic, we've had many other challenges that have been far beyond our own means or our own doing. COVID-19 has had an unimaginable impact on our lives and has caused immeasurable pain, suffering, and loss of life. And let us commemorate the more than 100,000 people who lost their lives in our country. We should also take this opportunity, as we should repeat it over and over again, to once again extend our gratitude, comrades, to the health workers in our hospitals, in our clinics, and to the frontline workers, to our police, to our soldiers, and to volunteers who served our people diligently and often at great cost during this pandemic. And let us give them a round of applause and thank them. Having said that, comrades, we must forever remain vigilant. The influenza of 1918 took 3 years. We are now into our 3rd year, but we don't know when COVID-19 will come to an end. In fact, at the moment, we are seeing a resurgence. We're seeing a rise in infections in various parts of our country, and we are also seeing rises of infections in many other parts of the world, where a number of cities, mega cities of millions of people, have had to be shut down, total shutdown with no movement outside whatsoever. Infection rates continue to climb as we enter the winter season as well, which is something that should concern us. Vaccination remains our most effective weapon and mechanism to fight this horrendous disease. We would like everyone to be vaccinated, and when eligible, those who have been vaccinated should go for their booster shots. In addition, it is important that we encourage our friends, our families, to go forward and be vaccinated. Now, COVID-19, comrades, exacerbated an already ailing economy, leading to more than 2 million job losses just in a short period of time. Just in 1 year, we lost 2 million jobs. This has never happened in our economy in the way that it has. Even in the financial crisis that we went through, we lost a number of jobs, but this time round to lose 2 million jobs at one go has been quite a devastating impact. We saw the closure of businesses and the deepening poverty and deprivation. Whilst we are beginning to emerge from this period of suffering and economic decline, we must begin to intensify our efforts at economic recovery and reconstruction. And as we were trying to re-emerge, then July events last year happened on us, leading to the death of more than 350 people and also having a negative impact on our GDP. And now, as we were also trying to come to terms with all that, we suffered from the floods that have engulfed KwaZulu-Natal, the eastern part of the Eastern Cape, as well as the Northwest. So, comrades, we've had all these devastating events descending on us, on a fragile economy, on a population that has a high unemployment rate, and on a population that is so poor. But this is the task that is then given on the shoulders of the African National Congress. It is us who must find ways and means and answers to navigate our people around all these challenges. Here in the Eastern Cape, the birthplace and home of our legendary leaders, the leaders of our movement, this is where we must exercise leadership as well as the ANC. And we will only continue to lead if we increase our people's trust in our ability to serve them. Unemployment, poverty, and inequality remain our most pressing concerns. The most recent quarterly labor force survey said that unemployment here in the Eastern Cape was 45%. And at the expanded definition, it held that 53.2% of people in this province are unemployed. Now, when Comrade Oscar Mabuyane says that one of our districts is the poorest in the whole country here in the Eastern Cape, it is true. We continue to see the exodus of skilled people leaving the province, going to other provinces because there is poverty, because there is unemployment. Young people, women, and people in rural areas continue to have the most highest unemployment rates here in the Eastern Cape. However one defines unemployment, comrades, this situation is unacceptable. This means, too, that too many people continue to be economically excluded. Too many people cannot provide for themselves or their families, and too many people go to bed hungry. This province is endowed with many comparative advantages and is the home to a number of industries which must be leveraged to create more jobs and to lift people out of poverty. Greater advantage should be taken of the province's strengths in a number of sectors, in sectors such as tourism, agriculture, and agro-processing. I've often said that the Eastern Cape, by right, by definition, by practice, should be seen as the breadbasket of the whole of South Africa. This is where the food of the country should be produced. If you want beef, you should come here. If you want mutton, you should come here. Kaufuni haku, this is where you should come. Apa Eastern Cape. This should be the home of all the food that the country produces, including maize. But it isn't so. And this is what we now need to change around. It is admittedly the automotive capital of the country, but of the entire continent. We make more cars here in the Eastern Cape than anywhere else on the African continent. And that in itself is a great endowment and a great capability. Now, the floods that we've just had have brought to bear the reality of climate change. And one says this because the impact that they have had in the eastern part of the Eastern Cape has been quite devastating, leading to the destruction of infrastructure and many other installations. These floods and other severe weather events such as droughts, which you have experienced here in large measure, show that parts of the Eastern Cape are more vulnerable to the impact of climate change. The province is duty-bound to dedicate greater resources to climate mitigation. And I've listened in the past and during even the political report presented here to Slalo. He speaks about climate change like he has become a world expert. Yena lo Oscar Mabuyane. He has immersed himself with great knowledge on climate change, but in doing all this mitigation, we should be looking for opportunities for greater job creation in mitigation programs and other parts of the green economy. The Eastern Cape government, together with national government, must also move with greater speed to address the province's poor and aging infrastructure. There are plans and programs in place to improve the province's road infrastructure, and these must be accelerated. I listened intently as the Premier, as the past convener and now chair of the province. Upromotiwe kaloku lo mntu lo. Bendimjonge apha ku-TV ejuluka. Wayejuluka ngoku he's not sweating anymore. Uyabona? Wayesoyika ukuthi kuzenzeka ntoni na. Now, in him, comrades, in him you have as a province a very, very committed advocate, advocating at a national level, at various other forums that we have, PICC and many others, that the infrastructure built in the province must be improved. And I agree with him, it must be improved, including, he never really stops talking about the roads in the province, and I have seen some of the roads, and that is going to be an area of focus for us so that we can improve the roads in the province. Yes, continuously also talking about a project where we had sod turning more than 10 years ago, the dam that is supposed to be built, the dam that I have also spoken about. He talks about it to me all the time. And I keep saying, dear, leli dam lizawakhiwa. It is going to happen. So comrades, the focus as we move on, and I say this advisedly because you've got a new leadership, the leadership that is going to have to focus on the economic turnaround in the province with infrastructure built and ensuring that we come up with a number of ideas and plans to create jobs in our province here. Comrades, as soon as we put the proper legal framework in place for the commercialization of hemp and cannabis, lenzangu ekhona eninzi apha e-Eastern Cape, we will be able, you know, you are a unique province. You can be the breadbasket of the country, and you can be the cannabis center of the whole country. Now, as soon as the legal framework, which is being worked on, is finalized, we expect that the Eastern Cape should be at the forefront of the industrialization of cannabis and hemp production here in the Eastern Cape. Now, conservative estimates hold that the country can create as many as 130,000 jobs in this area, and many people in the Eastern Cape can stand to benefit when we begin the industrialization process. And we intend to do just that. We must ensure that commercialization does not disadvantage the small and subsistence growers of cannabis, and government will put in place mechanisms to support and protect the small and subsistence growers as well. Effectively responding to the challenges facing the Eastern Cape and our country, in particular with regard to creating more jobs and fighting poverty, it requires a strong and united African National Congress that is committed to serving our people. Now, comrades, the tasks that we face require that the ANC in the Eastern Cape should be united and unite behind the leadership elected here. We must do so regardless of what our leadership preferences were. Now, with this decision that you have taken as the branches of the ANC, I would say, comrades, if we came to this conference divided, if we came to this conference being factions, if you like, if we came to this conference having different perspectives, all those differences must now melt away and disappear. The factions must now be collapsed. The groupings must now be collapsed. Ingasabikho lento ukuthi le group kaMabuyane, le group kaMadikizela. It must be a group ika African National Congress cha kwaphela. Now we must do it for good effect. Even for those comrades who have been elected, we expect that they are not going to be railroading other comrades out of positions. Ingabikho lento ukuthi abantu bazawukhutshwa kuma positions because abakhethwanga. It must be unity in action. It must be unity in action because this is how we are going to prove that indeed we are serious about unity and renewal. It is important, comrades. Ndiyaniva, kwangathi aniyivumi le nto. Ndiniva kakuhle. Kodwa my task, comrades, my task is to ensure ukuthi, yes, it is unity in action, but it must be principled unity, not unity for the sake of unity. It must be principled. We must be able to work with each other, promoting the values of the African National Congress, promoting integrity, and making sure that the African National Congress can regain the trust that our people used to have in it. Now, it is important that members of the ANC debate and discuss policy proposals. Now, because of the challenges that you had with credentials and all that, you were not able to devote as much time as you wished and wanted to discussing the political content of this conference and the policies. But there is hope on the horizon because you are going to have your PGC, and your PGC is going to give you sufficient time outside of leadership contests to debate the policies that should drive this organization going forward, in preparation for the policy conference and also in preparation for the national conference. So I expect that you will devote time, because the Eastern Cape, comrades, is known as the intellectual hub of the African National Congress. And we want you to live up to that. So, Slalo, we expect that you will devote enough time to discuss all those issues. The policies that we put forward must give hope to the people of our country that our movement is still the best agent of change. The people must be convinced that the ANC is their best agent to create a better life for all. I've been looking around and I have not seen a better agent to change the lives of our people. So at your discussions at the PGC, yes, do delve into policy discussions so that we can confirm that indeed the ANC is the better agent. Let us remind ourselves of the words of Comrade O.R. Tambo when he said, "It is only as a united force that we can move forward. It is as a united people that we shall be victorious." Your task now is to continue uniting, renewing, and rebuilding the African National Congress for a stronger province. It is important that we renew and rebuild our organization to equip the movement to better adapt and respond to the changing world and to the challenges that face us. At the same time, we must also renew our movement to deal with the negative tendencies and practices that have crept into our movement over time. The 54th conference, comrades, reminded us that we must demonstrate our commitment to renewal and fundamental transformation. It went on to say that we must shore up our capacity, honesty to identify and correct our weaknesses and revitalize our public image. The Nasrec conference explicitly said that we cannot just issue bland reassurances that are then negated by the very conduct of the leaders and members, as this worsens the decline of our movement. Ill discipline, factionalism, and other deviant tendencies continue to plague our movement. This movement must be principled and be more decisive in dealing with instances of ill discipline, the sowing of divisions, and other ills that bedevil organizational ethos and processes. Where anyone is found to have manipulated, for instance, organizational processes, or where votes have been bought, let us deal with these decisively. Where necessary, acts of criminality must be reported as well. Let us have a broader discussion about what qualifies an ANC member to be a leader of our movement. The time has come, comrades, for us to develop more explicit rules about the types of conduct that disqualifies a person from becoming a leader of this movement. Our leaders must be the most advanced cadres of our movement and be exemplary in their conduct, in their integrity, and in their commitment to our people's cause. The ANC, in the end, is far bigger than all of us. No one amongst us is bigger than the ANC. No one. Ungaba ngu-president, okanye ube ngu-chair we-province, or the chair of a branch. Let me tell you now, you are not bigger than the African National Congress. The African National Congress is far bigger than all of us. Now, the critical thing that everyone in the country is looking at, and let me tell you this, the whole country has had its eyes on your conference. Throughout the days that your conference has been going on, everyone who has been listening to radio, who has been watching television, has been having their eyes on this conference. And that is why I am so delighted that you were able to prove those who thought that you would have a chaotic conference wrong. Sibaphoxile. We showed them what you are worth. Now, what we should now do as a membership, we should also demonstrate to our people that, the view that they've had of the ANC, the view and the suspicions they've had of the ANC is completely different to what we are. We must demonstrate that we are the leader of society. We must demonstrate that we are, as the African National Congress, committed against corruption. We must demonstrate to them that we are an organization of great integrity, particularly here in the Eastern Cape, because you are a province of legends. The legends of our movement resided here. So, comrades, as we demonstrate and prove, we must at all times place the interests of this glorious movement before our own personal interests. We must be able to show all and sundry that we are putting the interests of our people ahead of our own personal interests. If we can do that, unyanisile dia, 2024 can come closer, and it can even happen now, because our people want an ANC that has integrity. Our people want an ANC that is going to serve the people of South Africa, because as they look around, they find that there is no other that can serve the people of our country like the African National Congress has served them. So, comrades, let us live up to that. Let us serve our people. Let us demonstrate to them that what we went through in 2017 when we went through that whole process, a cathartic process of looking at ourselves, that we are beyond that. We are renewing ourselves, we are uniting ourselves, we are becoming a better and more effective African National Congress. Today, this weekend, you have proven that yes, we can be that ANC. We can be that ANC where even as we come to conference with differences, we can be that ANC where even as we come with different leadership preferences, we can unite, elect a leadership, and we can adopt our credentials by consensus without getting our conference to be a chaotic conference. What you have done this weekend, comrades, I want to assure you, what you have done is quite phenomenal. You've done something that is quite historic. Yabona comrades, abantu abaninzi xa besijonga, they begin to dismiss us. But ANC is chaotic. What happened in 2017 is going to happen again, and nothing good will ever come out of that conference, and all that and all that. Let us continue proving them wrong. Let us show them that yes, we can run our organization effectively. Yes, we can run government effectively, that we can govern and serve our people. This is the ANC that our people want. Let us give that ANC to our people. And this weekend, you have shown us visions of that future. And I thank you, comrades, and congratulate you once again for having a very successful conference. Very, very successful conference. Diabule. Amandla. Amandla. Diabule.
Ay Tiban Makaban. Ay Tiban. Ay Tiban Makaban. Xa ningafuna uyidibanisa ke andizonidibanisa ngokwam. Sabalasa, so sabalasa, sabalasa, sabalasa. Comrades are tired. Not really. As they react, are you ready? Holy for Mulu Sucha. Holy for Mulu Sucha. Right, comrades, you can take seats. Masihlale ke sizabuyela kongokhela ngoza uhlabela ugqiba kaNgcuka Thobi. Because ndiyavuba ingathi akhona lamandla ndiwafunayo. Ndiyayiqonda wena enye ingxaki noba singayidelela hange silale. So abantu bacinga wanamandla qha ayebheke ezantsi. Thank you very much, Comrade President, for the encouraging words. As I'm indicating, kangibalale badiniwe. But at least you've motivated us and you've given hope. We needed a very positive message and you gave it to us. Thank you very much, Comrade President. Comrades, we are now going to take the Provincial Secretary, Comrade Lulama Ngcuka Thobi, to read the declaration. Comrade Ngcuka Thobi will read the declaration.
Amandla, Ngawe too. I will try to be as soft as possible. Comrades, ivoti kuthi iqalisile phaya. Nibona lamanene amanenekazi athe chuba ngaphambili mahle nje. Aya kulo mcimbi. Ningawaqhwabela ke lamanene amanenekazi. Niyanibona ningumuntu onice. Edeb, beningata madwana veterans. Veterans ngapha nashiyeka nina. Kuba ningiwa lapha eMonti. Sarah Batman. Ithani chu, niye pha nani kula mcimbi wala voti. Ningasingxoleli madoda. Enkosi. Mandenzele into bendithunyiwe ke. The process will be as quick as practicable as possible, comrades. Greetings to the President. I have already greeted other comrades. May I read your declaration, comrades? Okay. We, the 1,500 delegates, gathered at the African National Congress, Eastern Cape, 9th Provincial Conference, gathered at East London International Convention Center. We gathered under the theme, the Year of Unity and Renewal, to defend and advance South African gains. The ANC 9th Provincial Conference was attended by delegates drawn from more than 600 branches, representing more than 130,000 members in the province. The Provincial Task Team, the Veterans League, the ANC Youth League, the Women's League, the NEC, deployees, delegates from SICP, COSATU, and SANCO, and all the invited guests from various stakeholders. The 9th Provincial Conference plenary observed a moment of silence, paying tribute to the fallen members of the African National Congress and the entire Congress movement. The conference paid a special tribute to the Pepco Tree Sipho Ashe, Champion Galela, and Kakauli Godolozi, who on the 5th May 1985 were brutally murdered by the cruel apartheid regime. And in their memory, we recommitted that as long as the ANC lives, it will continue to relentlessly pursue their aspirations and the values they lived with. The ANC 9th Provincial Conference was addressed by the ANC National Chairperson, Comrade Gwede Mantashe, and received a closing address from the ANC President, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa. Ndinilinde niphume abaphumayo. Mandinilinde bandakwethu. Sarah Batman kodwa ayikagqibi. Ningaphuma uphume oku xa nifuna uphuma ngani. Yeah. Masiqhubeke nabashekayo bandakwethu. Ndizawuthetha xa nithethayo because andifuni ukuyeka ukuthetha. The ANC 9th Provincial Conference was addressed by the ANC National Chairperson, Comrade Gwede Mantashe, who opened it, and received a closing address from the ANC President, President Cyril Ramaphosa. The conference also received messages of support from our allies, SANCO, COSATU, and SACP. The conference considered and adopted the political, organizational, and financial reports.
Comrades, please. Ayikho into ethethisayo xa uyovota. Uphakama esitulweni sakho, ubheke kulaa mnyango, ungathethi namntu. Kufundwa i-declaration ye-conference apha. Please, can we be orderly and listen to this declaration? Nifane nomngenela kulaa ndlela ahleli ngazolileyo pha.
The conference considered and adopted the political, organizational, and financial reports of the Provincial Task Team. The PTT report served as a guide in the conference plenary discussions with thorough going assessment of the strengths and weaknesses of the organization in the Eastern Cape. The conference adopted the ANC National Executive Committee discussion paper on organizational renewal. The conference mandated the newly elected Provincial Executive Committee to develop a program of action and a program of taking the NEC discussion documents, papers on renewal to the lowest organs of the ANC, and committed the ANC PEC to hold a Provincial General Council to discuss both the content of the political work that we'll be undertaking and the program of action for the term that we are starting. And further, start discussions for the policy discussion as we prepare for the next National Policy Conference. The Provincial Conference affirmed that the strategic objective of the National Democratic Revolution is to build a non-racial, non-sexist, and united, democratic and prosperous South Africa. Achieving this strategic objective requires a thoroughgoing, radical economic transformation to build an inclusive economy that creates jobs, prosperity, and equity in our society. As such, the ANC and the entire mass democratic movement needs to take bold, revolutionary decisions to take the economy back to a higher growth and job-creating trajectory, using all the levers of the public and private sector and working in partnership with other critical economic players. The Provincial Conference confirmed that the ANC has long admitted that the need to renew and develop a different course of action, and therefore the need to renew is not something new, to an extent that the challenges confronting the ANC poses an existential crisis to the very same organization called the ANC. The ANC Provincial Conference commended the work done since the 8th Provincial Conference in uniting the ANC members in the province of the Eastern Cape. The ANC in the province will, within the year, convene regional workshops on the renewal of the ANC. The aim of these regional workshops shall be to take the program of renewal to lower organs of the ANC with speed. The ANC will take steps in ensuring functionality and better relations of the Revolutionary Alliance across all levels. As part of the renewing the ANC and the country, the step-aside rule will be implemented at all levels without any fear or favor. The Provincial Executive Committee should urgently develop a matrix for performance assessment of all elected leaders and public representatives. This is to ensure that there is accountability and mandate taking within the structures of government. The conference noted that the battle of ideas is one of the most contested terrains of the struggle and in key centers of power, and as such, felt that there is a need for alternative communication and media platforms. The conference noted the commendable progress with the implementation of the district development model, one budget, one plan. However, more effort must be championed by the Office of the Premier and the departments that are assigned to ensure that these plans are sustainable, spatially referenced, resourced, and truly integrative. Lifestyle audits in the public sector must be urgently implemented, and it must prioritize EXCO members, MPLs, municipal strikers, and mayoral committees, municipal managers, heads of departments, and other strategic deployed officials, such as CFOs and SCM practitioners. All the employees identified as trading with the state to be deregistered and further be subjected to disciplinary processes. As part of renewing the conference, the conference supports that all the members who are formally charged with corruption and other serious charges must immediately step aside from all leadership positions in the African National Congress. The conference noted the need to review the local government funding model and the amendment of the white paper on local government to ensure that there is greater funding directed to the municipalities. The equitable share needs to be reformulated with the municipalities as the major developmental wing of government, and as such should receive a greater share of the equitable share. The conference further noted the proposal to reduce the provinces in the number, which must be determined by taking into account the most appropriate modalities which will best serve the people of the country and our province in particular. The conference noted that the provincial economy is still reeling from the effects of the COVID-19 induced economic shutdowns. The agenda for economic transformation is facing challenges of multi-fronts given the challenging macroeconomic environment and the global geopolitics. Going forward, focus must be on the following economic transformation priorities: job creation and retention, youth development, COVID-19 economic growth and recovery, investment drive, enterprise development and support for cooperatives, building social compacts, support for catalytic and infrastructure projects. Further than that, there must be a concerted efforts on interventions to address water challenges across the province through water designation program and put in place mitigation measures against the effects of climate change. Conference underlined the need to unlock the provincial potential on cannabis by ensuring that there is an effective budget allocation and expenditure on concrete industry projects and fast-track the implementation of the small town revitalization program. To put the provincial economy on a higher growth trajectory, the province must prioritize infrastructure investments, particularly on the eastern part of the province, and take advantage of the Eastern Cape energy potential by exploring the coastline oil deposits and gas and potential nuclear in Thailand. Further, as a way of supporting economic recovery, the IR and economic transformation subcommittees must foster closer working relations with the aim of building a framework for subnational economic diplomacy. International Relations Subcommittee to set up dedicated task teams looking into international 4IR adoption strategies for the province as a way of repositioning the economy of the province. On education, health, and social transformation, to reimagine education for the 21st century, key elements include, but not limited, as discussed by the plenary, value-based education that embraces new values in relation to the 21st century, teacher development should shift towards the production of the 21st century teaching cadre. An education system that must prioritize skills that promote problem-solving skills, computer thinking, multidisciplinary skills, and systems thinking. Digital transformation of the entire education system is an enabler for transformation. The conference declares that all deserving learners must be provided with learner support material and scholar transport, and all other critical support for every learner regardless of the race, class, and creed to realize their full potential. As part of ensuring that health becomes a driver of building the health profile of the citizens of the province, the conference resolved to improve access to public health information that empowers citizens and their communities for a healthy lifestyle, and enhance measures to service delivery improvement towards realization of accessible, affordable, and quality health care, facilitate a balance between the implementation of coronavirus health response and delivery of health services reduction of disease burden, with focus on HIV, AIDS, STI, and tuberculosis programs, child mortality, maternal mortality, non-communicable diseases, and health promotion programs, including cancer awareness. On fighting GBV and femicide, the conference resolved for the ANC and East government to accelerate efforts towards victim empowerment, gender-based violence, and substance abuse, and work with strategic partners towards delivery of services aimed at combating GBV and femicide. The conference also noted the rising levels of homophobia and hate crimes, and as such, there is a need for the ANC to join and champion the struggle of the LGBTQI+ communities. The Provincial Conference, in conclusion, mandated the elected leadership to unite the ANC and the people of the province, and for the leadership to wholeheartedly serve the people of the province. The conference commended the discipline and maturity of the delegates in how they handled the political contestation. This was a sign of significant progress from the challenges that bestowed 2017 Provincial Conference. The conference is alive to the fact that the people of the Eastern Cape continue to be confronted with stubbornly high levels of poverty, unemployment, and inequality. And their beacon of hope and vehicle for better life is still the African National Congress. Therefore, the conference committed the ANC to live up to the revolutionary task of serving the people. The conference declared that we are indeed on a journey of unity and renewal to defend and advance South African democratic gains. Thank you very much. I therefore present this declaration for the adoption by the plenary. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nopala. Can we have a mover for that? That's the first hand. Nasi sandla sokuqala sininzi sandla ndifuna nje esizawuthi we move sithi sinye we second. Akho mntu unemicrophone oyonikeza sandla ngoku? Nale bendinayo ndinike nini amaqabane imicrophone apho. Yintoni ngoku caca wayifumaneki? I know. Cha uyayazi ngandisukela loo nto. Yes, is that okay?
Thank you, Comrade Chair. My name is Phumzile Ndolose. I'm from Great Kai sub-region, Amatole region, Ward 7. I move for the adoption of the declaration of the conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gokeli. Kaise apa phakathi ko sikhethele phakathi ko sapho no land khangela lo ufuna umnika Sikhethele ngokwakho. Ndiyarhana bazawuthetha into enye. Sikhethele.
Thank you very much, Chair. Gamalam Ndubalungile Sabo from the ANC Youth League. I stand to second the mover for the declaration of the conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thetha ukuthi ke lonto. Sikhona isandla se-objection na. Nangu ushweme phakamisile. Ngoku ke ndizayizwisha ke ngokuba ndizayisaphi emveni koku xa inje.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. The newly deputy provincial chair. No, Chair, is not an objection. It's just that when I was listening to the declaration, possible I missed it. When you talk about this step aside, those that are charged must step aside. I want to hear when you go further to say all those that are charged with corruption must not be allowed to stand for positions in the organization. I want to hear that part. Thank you very much. If it is there, I'm covered, I endorse. Thank you very much.
Comrade Ngqwetha obuyibambile. Mbanjwa, uphethe i-microphone.
No, thank you very much, Chair. I agree with comrades who are adopting the declaration. But there are aspects of the declaration which I think we must agree that they must be exhausted in the PGC. I want us to have that slight amendment, Committee Chair, but I supported the adoption, but with that amendment that let's exhaust other issues in the PGC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Banjo. I think, comrades, the two comrades that have made comments, they're all in order. That's the new, you want to explain that one?
Indeed, Comrade Malamlela, I was summarizing everything due to time constraint. What you have said is exactly what is contained in the entirety of the declaration, because it is in line with the NEC resolution, recent resolution on the matter that relates to implementation of the step aside. Where I will discuss about NGC, PGC, but the declaration stands adopted. The only element and the liberal Comrade Mbogo, indoba, tithathe lithuba lokuba ndibulele istaff saseCalata nestaff saseLuthuli who worked tirelessly during all these days, comrades. Abo bantu abo bayalityala xa kubulelwa abantu. Enkosi.
Thank you very much, Joel. Phambi kokuba upresident asithele, masicele ichaplaincy. Kaloku besivule kakuhle apha. Ndabona ke abantu nengakuhanjwa kucula neweekend nje. Izolo bemini yecawa bakhumbule enkonzweni nditsho ba ke kwanjalo phezolo. Kuyanyanzeleka ke ngokuba sininike la thuba. Mfundisi. Asivalele.
Thixo akunangqale kuThixo kunangcebe ukho endaweni so ukho ngamaxesha onke okho ngamaxesha shall onke paya isinkwenkwezi ni ukho wena ezolweni tese lukhona xa singekabikho zona xa singekabikho zotha siqhubeke onke kuthi tshabalala onke ube wena ungaphe ube wena sahleli ube wena sahleli umfundisi uMantini uzaza ukuthandaza kodwa godukani nalamazwi akule evangeli kaMateyu ngesahluko se11 solathe nje umgca wogoduka kule verse yesine Matthew chapter 11 verse 4 unamazwi athi Greetings, Your Excellency, Mr. President. Congratulations, dear, and the whole team are in order. Masifunde nabayifumeneyo. Waphendula uYesu wathi kubo, hambani niye kumbikela uYohane izinto enizivileyo nenizibonileyo. Imfama zibuya zibone, iziqhwala ziyahamba, abaneqhenqe bayahlanjululwa, nezithulu ziyeva, abafileyo bayavuswa, amahlwempu ayazishunyayezwa, indaba ezilungileyo. Ilizwi likaThixo eli. Nkosi ke mayisikelele ukufundwa kwalo ngoku nakunaphakade. Amen. Deputy Chair, I am not going to preach truly. I just want to invite my colleague, Umnqongo, azokuthandaza. Kodwa ninazi delegates and everybody else who participated and was part of this conference. It is now time to go back. But as you go back, uthi Mateyu ambanomxelela uJohane izinto enizivileyo nezinto enizibonileyo. As if it is not enough, he goes further to say, nimxelele ukuba iziqhwala ziyahamba, imfama ziyabona, abaneqhenqe bayaphiliswa. Ebethe ke umfundisi uMantini eliyaoni xa besivula ukuhlala kwale nkomfa kulindwe ngomonde zimpula zikalujaca omalahla nofele beliphondo balindile ayingabo bodwa sihlalo bakhona uJohani abebethumele abafundi bakhe bayokubuza ingaba nguyena lo uMesiya okanye silinde umbi. And some were saying, is this the ANC that we must vote for in 2024? And I say, Ambani, nomxelele uJohani. Ambani, nomxelele uJohani. To all the prophets of the doom who said this conference is not going to proceed and ifike kweli xesha, hambani niyomxelela uJohani ngoKristu inkosi yethu. Amen.
Zakuphela imfazwe zonke ngezwi lakho thi kwakulawula lawulo xolo uxolo twangezwi lakho thi kwakulawula kwakulawula xolo twangezwi lakho thi zakuphela imfazwe zonke ngezwi lakho thi kwakulawula lawulo xolo ngezwi lakho kwakulawula xolo twangezwi. Lizwi liviwa bubumnyama bubaleke uthembekile Thixo wethu oyingcwele. Kube khona Nkosi insuku esiye sazibekela bucala sincokola nawe njengoThixo. Sisithi Nkosi uzungavuma uba sibe ngumgxekwa wamageza. Ungavuma Nkosi eyingcwele okokuba kuhlekiswe ngombutho waqalwa ngoba omkhulu somandla nomakhulu bethu. Wena Nkosi uye wasiva. Kwathi Nkosi sele ubumnyama busondela bufuna ukusigubungela. Kodwa wena njengoThixo wavuma Nkosi eyingcwele. Wasuka Nkosi eyingcwele ngeqhange lakho lomlilo. Wakhanyisa Nkosi eyingcwele. Sibulela Nkosi ukuhamba nawe. Uqala Nkosi ukufika kwedelegates asivanga Nkosi kusithwa zezafumana ingozi endleleni. Ngoku Nkosi eyingcwele abantu bakho babuyele emakhaya. Into ke Nkosi eyingcwele sicela into ba umbandezi wendlela xa uSathane engakhange alunge kule sanctuary esikuyo uzawufuna Nkosi ukukhangela ixhobe endleleni Nkosi eyingcwele. Usungavumi Nkosi eyingcwele okokuba abantu bakho baginywe yindlela. Mabofike emakhaya bephilile ukuze Nkosi bakwazi ukubika njengokwesitsho Nkosi umfundisi uqwabaza bakwazi ukubikela abangekhoyo Nkosi okokuba ngenene Nkosi eyingcwele izithulu Nkosi eyingcwele ziyeva, imfama ziyabona, neziqhwala ziyahanjiswa. Kanti wena unguThixo njani Nkosi eyingcwele lo othandaza sithi wawugqiba uve Nkosi eyingcwele? Ngoba ngoku Nkosi eyingcwele sigoduka sinelunda sisithi Nkosi eyingcwele uye wasiva wawugqiba wenza. Ngoba Nkosi eyingcwele lonke ihlabathi belijongile uba la province aphuma kuyo uba uMadiba ingaba Nkosi izawuphinda ibe lihlazona, awavuma Nkosi eyingcwele. Ingathi Nkosi eyingcwele besingesodwa bekunelifu lamanqina. Amadoda amakhulu noba womkhulu namakhulu bethu ingathi Nkosi bebefukamile bekho. Sithi Nkosi sesifuna ukushiywa Nkosi ngumlomo kodwa usale ngumkhala. Kuthi Nkosi sele sifuna Nkosi ukuba namandla nobushushu kodwa uphinde usithoboze. Lungile Nkosi eyingcwele sikambona uThixo njengawe. Ngoku Nkosi eyingcwele siyagoduka. Sicela wena njengoThixo okokuba Nkosi yonke lento ibithethwa apha Nkosi in terms of policies baze Nkosi abantu bakho bazuze. Bakhe Nkosi eyingcwele abantu bakhela izindlu. Ikhe Nkosi imigaqo yenziwe. Kungabonakala Nkosi eyingcwele okokuba sizawuba lihlazo abantu bazawuthi bakhumbule iphutha. Kodwa Nkosi eyingcwele kube kukhona Nkosi abantu Nkosi abaphethe. Sikelela ke Nkosi eyingcwele bonke Nkosi zonke inkokheli ukusuka Nkosi kutata uCyril Ramaphosa Nkosi eyingcwele uze Nkosi eprovincini. Usikelele Nkosi eyingcwele esisigqebe esitsha esizawukhokelwa Nkosi eyingcwele uComrade Mabuyane. Usikelele Nkosi eyingcwele uComrade Umvoko. Usikelele Nkosi eyingcwele uComrade Uncuka Ithobi. Usikelele Nkosi eyingcwele uComrade Helen Nkosi eyingcwele. Usikelele Nkosi eyingcwele uComrade Williams. Siyakhunga ngabo Nkosi eyingcwele. Ubagcine Nkosi ngentambo yobunye. Kungabikho namnye oyawubiwa nguSathana kubo. Siyacela ke Nkosi eyingcwele okokuba Nkosi enamandla. Zesithi Nkosi xa siphuma apha wena Nkosi eyingcwele ugoduke nathi. And now may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit rest and abide with us all, now and forever. Amen, 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 amen. Amen, 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 amen.